Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. I'm really glad you're here today. We are going to be taking a look at the coming week. So that would take us October 25th through to the 31st. I suppose, really at the bottom of it all, what we're trying to figure out is what fresh hell the tiny-handed wannabe dictator is going to put the country through this week. Call them like I see them. So these are just some things to keep in mind as we go forward into this week. Donald Trump truly believes that it was, that Comey announcement of the second sort of opening up of the investigation. He really believes that that is what won him the election. And, honestly speaking, it could well have been. So this week, he's trying to replicate that. He tried to replicate that with the whole Giuliani bombshell about Hunter Biden, which turned out to be nothing but sludge. So he's really trying to use these sort of shock tactics or scare tactics to get people to kind of come his way. So it's going to be interesting by the time we get to the end of this week, how many people will have voted early? Because, you got to wonder if by the time he actually gets to November 3rd, if the vast majority of people have not already voted. By my just, rudimentary calculations, I've got it figured that about a third of the people who are likely to vote have already voted. So, that doesn't leave him kind of as much wiggle room, I think, as he likes to think he has. So I want to take just a look and see what's going to happen this coming week. So at last count, 5 people in Pence's office, including his chief of staff, have all been tested positive for COVID. So, the one thing that Donald Trump is trying to make fade into the background as 8.5 million people have contracted the disease in the United States, and 225,000 souls have been lost to this insanity. So, with the announcement of all the people that are sick in Pence's office, of course, I think that probably takes Pence off of the campaign trail. I'm not sure, but you kind of think it would. And more than that, it really draws attention once again to the coronavirus, which, of course, Trump doesn't want anybody talking about. So let us just see what we can see. Come on down. Okay, so Trump this week, Trump this week, Trump this week. All right, here we go. Oof. Okay. Let's just start with these 4 first. So the 4 of Swords is sitting here and the 3 of Swords is sitting here. This is talking to me about Trump's health and him not being sort of as, vital and vibrant as he thinks perhaps that he is projecting. He really is kind of in that place where he almost doesn't care. I mean, you don't go to rallies and tell people, I had no intentions of coming here, but I have to now. You guys are really making me work. Excuse me? The man who was trying to get reelected as president is complaining about, one, seeing his, the people who vote for him, his constituents, and secondly, is complaining because he can't be on the golf course. So his message is not being well received at all, okay? The diehards are going to stick with him no matter what. But I really believe that that number sort of is down to 25 or 30%. I've never seen it at, 40%. And ultimately, he is setting himself for heartache because the things that he believes and views as his strength are, in fact, turning into a liability for him. The bullying, the interrupting, the strongman tactics, the shockingly ridiculous things he says. In 2016, people were more inclined to think it was great. They really liked that aggressiveness. They wanted to shake things up. 4 years later, everybody is as exhausted could be. And at this point, they just want the crazy to kind of stop. So, but it's definitely looking like physically, mentally, emotionally, he is really, really not in very good shape. What is happening is that he is unable to find a balance. He can't find a way to attack Biden. He can't get a message that people have really hooked on to, except for these ridiculous chants of lock him up, except you're never quite sure who it is he's wanting to lock up on any particular day. It's almost as if in some ways he really wants to present an image that this was a tremendous sacrifice that he made in his own personal well-being in life for the benefit of the United States. Now, I'm not exactly convinced that he really thinks that, but it very much feels like that could very well be kind of the tone of the message going forward. Sort of literally, I have sacrificed so much for you people. You need to keep me in office for another 4 years because look at all I have given up to be your president. I don't know that that's exactly going to fly, but he's definitely going to try to make it so. Yeah, so unfortunately, part of what is going on is he is racing backwards in time, okay? He is doing everything he can, not only to really encourage people to sort of really want that mid-1950s era and energy, but he's trying to get back to 2016 too and figure out how to duplicate that. And tick tock, time is running out for him. He hasn't mastered it yet. I don't see actually any indication that things are going to miraculously or suddenly go his way because, of course, here comes the tower. So you can anticipate, not only is there a big tower moment coming kind of like when he loses, but this week is really, it feels very much like some of his shortcomings, some of the real craziness is going to really start to show. So what can we expect? Well, we can expect more volatility. And this is the thing, I have never ever done a reading for him lately where it doesn't pertain to money, news about money, information coming out about his money or how it's getting spent, whether it is the, re-election fund, which is now broke because they drained all the assets out of it. I'm not sure, but I think it was like Biden has almost $475 million or something in his kitty, and Trump has something like 60 million. So he has been so totally outgunned when it comes to raising money, which of course, therefore, means that he doesn't have as many viable options as somebody who has fuller pockets. And so there's going to be more news coming out. And it feels with this Seven of Pentacles sitting here that we could even be looking at information coming out about, I almost want to say like an investigation or an assessment of assets connecting to him or his companies or even his children. But again, there's going to be more money news, and frankly, it's not going to be good news for the Trump or his or his family. So this is kind of the problem, right? He is up against somebody who, for the most part, people know. I mean, you guys refer to him as Uncle Joe. And he's trying to spin some story about who he really is. Well, the deal is that you Americans have known for several decades who Joe Biden is. Like him, love him, agree with him, not agree with him. He is a known entity. And Trump's continual sort of abuse of trying to throw in people's faces this new reality it's not playing well, because Biden's reputation is staying intact. And it absolutely is going to continue to stay intact through this week, okay? Trump is literally not going to be able to land any punches. I think more and more you're going to see some behavior coming out of Trump and the Trump, and the party about the fact that there really is an awareness and a recognition that they have lost this election, they have lost the presidency, and they are literally steeled to lose the Senate. And that's a good thing, because they're absolutely going to lose the Senate. So it's a good thing that they're kind of prepared for it. But more and more, there's going to be that energy of, listen, we have really backed ourselves into a corner. Trump has, it's not working for him. And as the Republican Party, it's not working for us. And now we're trying really hard to distance ourselves, except, we waited until the last 2 weeks before the election to do it. It really, for most people, is going to be too little, just too late. And it feels very much as if there's also going to be some sudden or striking news that comes out that it's almost like karma is coming to get him, right? He took so much advantage of the fact that there was a sort of an investigation or some really bad, startling news that came out about Hillary right before, people were heading off to vote. And it feels very much like the very same thing might happen to him. So we're going to want to watch this week and just see exactly what comes out that actually, hammers like another nail in the coffin for him. It looks like there's going to be some not very good news coming out for Trump and the Trump campaign. Possibly there's going to be news about dark money, people who were donating or have donated. And of course, my Fool card for Trump. So this is interesting because, you almost get the feeling, and I believe I've said this before, that the people who he could count on, the big donors, they're not so much in his corner right now. And it feels as if, he's sort of like that, a beggar, going from, big time donor who he thinks are his friends, because he's too foolish to understand he's being played for a fool. But it's like he's going to them and he's just not getting, and I got to tell you, I almost get the feeling that what is happening is I'm sorry, Mr. So-and-so is not available. Can I take a message? People are avoiding him, okay? People don't want to give him any more money because they understand that they are literally just flushing that down the toilet. One, and two, whatever money they do give him is going to magically and mysteriously end up in Trump's pocket. So he's losing that sort of financial support. And we all know he really doesn't have the wherewithal to use his own money, even though he loves to say he is, and he does, and he has. You're going to see more confusion, more sort of rambling. The pity party is going to continue, make no mistake. The victimhood is going to continue. I can't believe how badly I've been treated. So there's a lot of really toxic and scattered and angry and aggressive energy that is swirling around him, and frankly, by extension, the Republican Party. it looks as if, and I we'll know later today, right? But it looks as if um, the Judge Barrett is going to end up being confirmed to the Supreme Court unless something absolutely crazy happens, literally in the next couple of hours. I'm recording this, by the way, on Sunday, so I guess from my perspective, we've got about not even 24 hours, but sometime. But it's going to backfire so big because people are saying, what are you doing? And they've been saying it for weeks, okay? But now, because it's an accomplished thing, all of the advertising and stuff is going to immediately shift to look. They were so busy trying to get her confirmed to the court to take this country back to the dark ages. Well, you hold on to your money, Mr. Trump, and you don't share it with the people of the country. And of course, it's not his money, it's the country's money. But it's like, Mitch McConnell, you're hanging on to all of this stuff because this is your priority. And meanwhile, the very people who voted all of you yahoos in, are suffering. They're absolutely suffering, and they don't care. Mitch McConnell certainly doesn't care because he really is all about doing what he needs to do. He also knows, right, that he's losing the Senate. And, this he sees as his legacy, right? This he sees as what he can leave behind, what is going to be attached to his name. What he doesn't understand, and I'm fairly certain of, is that the Judiciary Committee in and of itself is going to be experiencing some oversight type of investigations. And some of those judges that he thinks are, secure, may not be quite as secure as he thinks they are. And, it's going to be interesting to see whether and of course, I'm thinking of Kavanaugh specifically, but I also think that there's going to be some stuff coming out about Amy that is also not going to sit all that well. And so it feels as if, things are going to be investigated. I guess the only question of it is how much we actually hear about versus perhaps simply, backroom deals saying, listen, you need to gracefully get the hell out of Dodge. So we'll see how that plays out. But definitely it's going to backfire. The focus on getting another judge confirmed versus taking care of the people of the country, ensuring that the elections are secured, ensuring that people literally have food on their table and a roof over their heads. Not good. Also, there's going to be more news coming out about the post office. So the post office has now been ordered to recommission all of those sorting machines that they destroyed. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to recommission them, but apparently they've been told they need to do so. So there again is going to be that emphasis on the post office, and they're not delivering your medicine, they're not delivering the things you need, your checks, whatever it is, because Trump doesn't want to lose the election, and so they've completely screwed up the post office. So you're going to see a real intensity of sort of attack ads coming out this week, and by extension you're really, really going to see him not handling it or behaving very well. So interesting. Behind the scenes, it very much looks as if Trump is sort of in one part of that reptilian brain of his, is really trying to figure out how he gets out of Dodge. How much can he cram into his arms to take with him, and how much and what is he going to leave behind? And again, with the moon sitting here, not only is some of that perhaps going to come to light, but more, it really feels like he doesn't have a clear plan. I mean, he really thinks that somebody is going to swoop in and somehow save him. But the people who kind of protect him, they, whether it is a Bill Barr or it is that Mark Meadows guy or even Kushner, they're all realizing that the game is over. You know, this is the final performance of the Trump presidency. And so there is going to be that energy of sort of every man for himself. So don't be surprised if there's more people coming to the force saying either I'm a Republican and I'm not supporting Trump, or people saying who are currently in the party saying things like this is going to be a bloodbath, and trying to do that distancing thing. Well, you know what? They're not going to have a lot of success distancing themselves based on the fact that every Republican senator, including Lisa Murkowski, she should be ashamed, are going to vote for Amy. So why they think that that's going to put them in the right light, I do not understand. I just don't. It looks like it's very much going to be a week of Trump hearing sort of a lot of things he doesn't want to hear. Do not be surprised if he appears. I almost want to use the word wobbly. Not only physically wobbly, but kind of mentally a little off on, never mind Earth 2. I think he's already gone to Earth 3. Because it feels as if, this is often a card of celebration, but this is also a card of overindulgence. And, there are certain things that apparently Trump likes to take to keep his energy up, and it feels like as this sort of slower, more lethargic energy comes at him, he may be inclined to increase that, and it's again only going to put him in a position where he looks, worse instead of better, right? You've got the 5. He's had a lot of 5s here today, and that's change, and it's friction. And so it really doesn't feel like this is going to be a very good or productive week. He's going to be getting news, polls, all kinds of things that he does not want to hear. And in his head, what he does is he immediately puts them into the fake news category, while his staff runs around frantically and they try to find something that they can tell him, that he's leading. So where he's leading apparently is in really red states. I haven't seen a whole heck of a lot of those comparisons, in terms of Trump versus Biden and say like Oklahoma. But he is, so this is what's happening. There's bad news coming, and then they run around trying to tell him something that'll, calm him down, boost his fragile ego, and kind of keep him going. And again, he is going to be traveling like crazy this week because in many ways, they just want him out of the White House, right? They don't want him hanging around. And the more he travels, the more tired he's going to get, the more aggressive and moody he's going to get. And, again, just don't be surprised at what might come out of his mouth over in the rallies that he's doing, or in reaction to information or news that comes out that really does not put him in his best light. Yeah. So if you put the cards this way, it absolutely just tells a sentence. He is incredibly worried that his fortunes are changing and he is not going to ride to victory. So then it is all about him and what he can acquire and accumulate. All right. Yeah. Justice is coming for him, and they're going to, this is the thing, when these investigations start, and honestly, it's not that they haven't started, some of them really have started, they're going to really flourish, okay? There's going to be a lot of information that comes out, and it's not going to sit well with him. He's got not only the Justice card, the Judgment card, but the Ace of Swords. Now, the Ace of Swords, as most of you know, is my Biden card, and so Biden is also going to be having the upper hand this week, whether it is amount of television exposure, whatever it is. You know, that too is going to be going on. I don't know if Obama is having any more car rallies or anything like that, but it really feels as if he may be yet taking, you know, a few more really good shots at him. And of course, when he does that, the news people play it over and over and over again. You know, so that's sort of interesting. And so it is Sunday for me now. So that means tonight. So for you guys last night, that 60-minute thing is on. And so that's also really, really not going to show him in a good light because, you know, they're not going to be releasing raw tape. It's going to be a production that is presented. And so it very much is going to be cohesive, and it's going to be, you know, just simply more than them releasing, you know, a video of a bunch of tape. Communications this week are not going to be very good for him. They're really, really not. Yeah, you know what? This is the bottom line. He's absolutely just not going to catch a break. He's really, really not. His luck is not going to hold for him, and it really feels honestly like we're going to see truly some significant deterioration this week. So now, literally, I just realized a moment or two ago that I am not using my typical Rider-Waite deck. I am using Gilded Tarot. They're beautiful, beautiful cards. For those of you who have had private readings with me, you know that these are the cards that I use for private readings. So once this is over, I'm going to go sage the heck out of these. I simply grab them the wrong cards. So I will be back to the Rider-Waite, you know, deck a little later on. You know, so there you have it, right? If it confused you or you had questions about it, I simply grabbed the wrong deck. But the message apparently was exactly the same. It sort of doesn't matter, I guess, what deck you use when it comes to Trump. Okay, so a couple of housekeeping things. Paul and I got the pendulum video done. It is ready for release on Tuesday. It is coming out on the Soulprint Insights channel. It's called Everything Pendulums. So look forward to that. If you've had questions or concerns, or you want some more information on that, we had a blast doing it. And again, you know, Paul, thank you so very, very much. It's you bring a lot of knowledge and wisdom to the videos we do with regards to crystals, and I really very much do appreciate the time and energy that you put into helping me get this information kind of out there. Wednesday's video, I have already done it. I recorded it yesterday because it's a message video. It is not a card reading message. It is a channeled message, and it deals with, you know, why Trump? Why did this happen? What was the purpose? And where do we go from here? It's really interesting. It's a really interesting video. It points out, I think, some things that people are kind of aware of, but I believe that when the way it's channeled, it really does put it in sort of a cohesive, almost like a story. So there's that to look forward to. People who have made donations, I am so humbled. I always use that word, but it truly is like when I see a donation has come in, I just sort of go, oh my God, because I'm so surprised, right? So for those of you who donate, thank you so, so much. It is genuinely appreciated, and I'm very grateful. Also, of course, in the box below, you are going to find the link for not only the Soulprint Insights channel, if you haven't located it yet, but also information should you be looking for a private reading. I am currently booking mid to late November. I kind of think that's it. So listen, thank you ever so much for once again popping in to Soulprint Insights and allowing me to do this for you. You know, you guys often send comments that say, you know, we're so grateful and we really appreciate what you do. But you know what? Literally back at you. I am so grateful and I really do appreciate all that you have brought into my world with the support that you have given the Soulprint channels. So I humbly and with gratitude, I thank you for that. Until next time, take care. Be well. See you soon. Bye-bye.